unless anyone has any other questions, we're good to go. I am going to mute us all for now, but you can unmute yourself at any time. Don't hesitate if you ever have any question, or use that chat box down below, because I do keep an eye on that as well. So, okay, good. Awesome. Well, thanks for being here, everybody. So what I want us to have, we're actually going to start with a little bit of pranayama work today. And the pranayama we'll be doing is going to start to wake up our abdominal muscles and get us awareness in this part of our body. So we're moving into Manipura chakra, and this is our powerhouse, our place where we build up self-confidence, self-esteem. When we tone and strengthen the muscles that wrap around our core, it improves our spinal health, it improves our balance, and it improves our posture. So really important stuff on a physical level here. And yeah, so this part of our body is associated with the solar plexus. It is around the navel center with our digestion, metabolism, and all that good stuff. And then we will incorporate the other things. So for today, our usual props, if you have yoga blocks, no problem, have them nearby. Bath towel or blanket or smaller, larger pillows. And if you don't have one already, if you have a heavy yoga block, these foam ones are okay, but they're kind of light. I have this nice heavy book. We're going to start on our backs and do this belly breathing or yogic breathing. So a heavier book will work well because it will give us that sensation and we'll really be able to feel it. Now when we lie down on our backs today, if you do want to take a pillow to the front of your mat here, so you have a little support for the legs, or if you need support behind the head, go ahead and take that. So we'll come down here. And we do want our back to be flat, so we don't want to be elevating our chest. We've been doing some heart opening and chest opening, but we want our low back and our back to be in its neutral position so that we can do this breathing. And like I said, for the legs, feel free to take a pillow under the thighs or the knees, lengthen out that low back, adjust the shoulders, and take some extra support behind the head as needed. We'll take our heavier block or our book, and you place it right on top of the belly. So not on the rib cage, make it right on the soft part of the belly. We'll roll our arm bones out beside us, turn the palms up, wiggle things around, get comfortable as we do. And then we'll close our eyes and start to redirect our attention inward. So before we start the pranayama work, let's take a moment here to just kind of center, allow our mind to start to fall down towards the ground and come within the four corners of our mat, moving our awareness into the physical body. Once we've made all our little adjustments, we'll press that pause button and just start to let the whole body relax here towards the ground. All the little muscles around the face, relaxing down the limbs of the arms into the hands and fingertips. Relaxing down the limbs of the legs into the feet and toes. And then start to relax around the torso, the muscles that wrap around the rib cage, the waist, the low back, the abdomen, and that whole area around our low back and hips. And as usual, as we're scanning and reconnecting to our physical body, if we notice any areas that maybe need a little extra attention today, neck, shoulders, feet, whatever it is, let's just pause on those areas for a moment. Send a healing breath into them. And on our exhale, we let those areas relax, remembering that we each have permission to modify and adjust our practice accordingly. Continue to let the whole body relax here as we spread our awareness to the natural rhythm of the breath. So simply observe and watch the body breathe. Noticing the subtle movements of the body with the breath, the rhythm of the breath. Maybe any sounds that the breath is naturally making. And then let's start to feel and notice this breath a little bit more around the abdomen. And just notice if there already is a little bit of rise and fall of the belly with the breath. Now, when we get into this pranayama work, if it ever causes any cramping or discomfort, just back off. Just like with our body, we never force or push or strain the breath. We want it to be as smooth and even as possible. So we're going to practice yogic breathing, our diaphragmic breath, with Samavritti pranayama, or even our equal breath. So on our inhales, we'll relax the abdomen completely, allow it to rise, and purposely try to lift our book up towards the ceiling. And then on the exhale, we'll allow the weight of that book or prop to drop back down into the body. And we try to gently pull the belly in so we can bring it down as far as possible. The inhale relaxes the abdomen, it rises, the diaphragm is dropping down, pulling that breath deep into our lungs. The exhale, the prop moves down into the body. We can contract the navel center, trying to pull it as low as possible. This pushes the diaphragm up, pushing all that old air out of the lungs. So we'll continue this purposeful belly breathing. And then the next layer we'll add on is the Samavritti pranayama. And to help equalizing our breath, we can mentally count the breath. So whenever we get to our next inhale, you'll mentally count the number you're breathing in to expand the abdomen and to fill the body up. And then when we get to the exhale, we just breathe the same number back out. Find a number that feels comfortable for you. And after a few rounds, as we improve this breathing, that number will kind of naturally start to lengthen and expand. So if you start to add 1 or 2 counts to your inhale to take in even more fresh air and prana, just remember on the exhale to also add that 1 or 2 extra counts. Let's all try to follow one more full cycle of breath here. So abdominal breathing not only improves the quality of our breath, the depth of our breath and length, but it has a very calming effect on our nervous system. So just pausing throughout our day and taking these big belly breaths can help the whole mind and body relax, feel more calm and peaceful. So that next breath, make it your biggest, fullest breath yet. And we'll take that exhale all the way back out of the body whenever you get there. And really try to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze every last drop out. Now at the bottom of our exhale, we'll now let go of trying to follow and control the breath for a moment. So let it go wherever it wants. Don't worry about it. Wiggle the fingers and toes, coming back to the body, rock the head. And then we'll take our prop off of our belly and just place it off to the side of our mat here for a moment. And then let's try to straighten and stretch out those legs down the middle of our yoga mat. And on our next inhale, float those arms up to the ceiling and all the way overhead into our long body stretch. So we'll take a moment here just to stretch the whole body out. Flex and point those toes, flexing the feet to the shins, spread those toes, those fingers. One more big breath in. And then on the exhale, walk those feet in, float the knees in, hands to knees or shin bones, and let's just rock gently side to side across that low back. Taking our hands behind our thighs, stretch both legs up towards the ceiling, point and flex the feet here. And when we're pulling those toes towards our shin bones, actively try to pull those pinky toes towards the shin bones as much. We tend to forget about that lateral edge of our feet. And when we point, try to point in as tall and as upwards as we can, whatever that word is. And then we'll just do one more pose here today before we transition. So now we'll flex the feet, hold the thighs from the outside, and let's open those legs nice and wide into Supta Konasana. Roll through the ankles here. If we're ready to deepen that stretch, move the hands to the inside, let gravity stretch out those inner thigh growing muscles. And the more we try to press those heels out and open up the eyes of the knees, the more that will intensify this big stretch. Breathe it in. On the exhale, squeeze those legs back up to Waterfall Pose. Bend at the knees. Bring the right arm beside the head, and we'll roll over to our side, pausing for a moment. And then look to the ground, press down into the ground, and we'll bring our bodies up. So we are going to come into a seated position. I would still recommend sitting up on our folded blankets, some type of props so we can keep our spine nice and tall. We're going to do one more pranayama exercise here this morning to get even more deeply into these abdominal muscles. And we're going to practice a few rounds of Kapalabhati breathing. Now this is a very powerful pranayama. And again, if you get any discomfort, cramping, if you have any ulcers or hernias, you should not practice Kapalabhati. You can continue to come back to belly breathing. And we'll just do a couple rounds here, and we're going to take it nice and slow. Now, you're in your own space, so if you have a Kapalabhati practice and you do a more powerful breath, you may do so. But I'm going to guide us in a much more subtle Kapalabhati. So Kapalabhati is forceful exhale, passive inhale. So on the exhale, we're still contracting the abdominal muscles, so we're pulling them in tightly. And then we don't try to forcefully inhale. That's Bhastrika. We're not practicing that pranayama. I'm going to kind of come close to the camera here for a second and just show you my belly and how this breath looks. So I'm going to inhale and relax my belly. And then when I exhale, I'm exhaling through the nose, it snaps in. So I'm inhaling passively and then exhaling. So that's the exhale. And then you can kind of speed it up. So every time I exhale, I'm contracting and pulling in. So that's the intention that we want. Now we're seated in Sukhasana or any other comfortable seated pose. We can take Chin Mudra in our hands, index finger to thumb, and rest the hands on the knees, palms up. It's very important that our spine stays tall. So when we get into Kapalabhati breathing, this is very powerful for the abdominal muscles as well. So this will tone those muscles. It increases our metabolism and improves our digestion. So to start, we breathe in through the nose. And then you exhale all the way back out through the nose. Pull the belly in, passively inhale, and then exhale. And you want to kind of start speeding it up a little bit. So it's an exhale, 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 exhale. And you should feel this powerful contraction each time. Almost like you're preparing to get punched in the stomach and you have to tighten up those muscles. And the exhale is shooting out through the nose. Don't try to suck that air in. That forceful contraction, when you just relax, it works like a vacuum and it should pull that breath in. We're going to try to go for about 30 more seconds. If you need to take a break, take a break. Five, four, three, two, one. Exhale. Eyes can close if you had your eyes on a fixed point. Relax the belly completely. Take a break. Head is just floating on the shoulders. The shoulders are relaxed down. The spine is tall. Just notice any sensations that we feel mentally and in the body. And we're just going to do one more round this morning. Before we do that second round, switch the cross of the legs. If you're in Sukhasana, opposite leg in front. Sit up tall in the sit bones. Keep the length in the spine. The face is relaxed. You can either fix your gaze on one point or keep your eyes closed. Second round, we're trying to go for about a round of 50. I'm timing it about 50 to 60 seconds. So we'll begin inhaling, exhaling, and then passive inhale, and then we start exhale, 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 exhale. And each time you push that air out forcefully through the nose, you should feel your abdominal muscles tighten and contract. If it helps you keep the rhythm, you can mentally count. About 10 more seconds. Five, four, three, two, one. Exhale. And then completely relax. Let go of trying to follow and control the breath here. Relax the belly. And again, just simply notice and observe the breath. And then gently blink the eyes open, and we'll stretch it out. So I have a little friend that magically showed up during our Kapalabhati breathing. Lady, you're gonna move a little bit, honey. So let's do some of our toe work now. So we're still sitting up tall. Stretch those legs out. Give your legs a quick little wiggle from our seated position. Now we're gonna be in Dandasana. I have my knees bent up. So if you're sitting up tall, you're gonna have to micro bend your knees a little bit, or slide maybe a rolled towel underneath the legs so your legs aren't just hyperextended. The hands can rest beside our hips.
We can't see your feet.
You cannot see my feet?
Yes.
Can you see them now? Let me try something here. I'm gonna make a little adjustment. We got a little friend visiting anyway, just for a moment. Okay, that's better, right? So sit up tall. So look, on the inhale, hands beside the hips, you have to maintain this. The core is working to keep us sitting up tall. You're gonna flex the feet, pulling the toes towards the shin bones. We often get the big toes to turn in, but those pinky toes are still pointing forward. So you wanna pull those pinky toes back as much as possible and almost feel like you're trying to press the mounds of the big toes forward. And then ideally, all 10 toes are in one straight line. Now on our exhale, what I want you to do first is curl your toes up first. Okay, so you're gonna curl the toes and then point the feet forward. So this is articulation to those joints. Spread the toes first, now pull them to the shins. That's our inhale. Exhale, curl the toes first. Pretend like you're trying to grip or grab something and then point them forward. And then spread and pull them back in. Let's do that 2 more times. Curl. Now, if you get cramping, that does happen. And then point, and then spread and pull. 1 more time. Curl them up nice and tight. Get in there, grab a hold, and point. And then open them and pull, pull, pull. Pull those pinky toes in. And then relax. Wiggle it out. So we'll do some more toe work from our standing position. And then from here, we're gonna come back to a seat. So I want us to get to a little bit of neck stuff and then we'll move our whole body. So from our seat, I wanna sit back up on something. I gotta adjust. Sukhasana, Siddhasana, whatever works best for you. I just wanted to give our legs a quick break. Sitting up nice and tall again. Extend those arms out from beside the shoulders, turn the palms up. Inhale, let's reach it up. Big stretch. On the exhale, float those fingertips back down to the floor. We'll do our seated triangle. Inhale the right arm up, lean it over to the left. Now keep the neck a natural extension of the spine. Inhale pulls us up. Exhale, take it over to the other side. We should feel the waist and the rib cage opening. Let's do that 2 more times, or 1 more time to each side. Inhale up through center, exhale. Both sit bones stay rooted. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha are engaged. Inhale, exhale 1 more time to the right. Inhale, both arms come up. Bring the palms to touch and exhale. So from here, interweave all 10 fingers, nice strong grip in the hands. Flip the palms forward. We're gonna draw the belly in, purposely round the back, and tuck the chin to the chest. So we're stretching out the root of the neck in between the shoulder blades. And then inhale, gently arch the low back. Float those upper arm bones beside the ears, stretching out around the shoulder girdle. Exhale, draws the belly in, scoop, tuck, and round. Try to get that chin towards the chest. We're rounding over a visible ball, getting a nice big stretch in the upper back on the root of the neck. Inhale, bring it all the way up. Now here, open the arms up, and on our exhale, we'll rotate to our right, keeping that length in our spine. You may try to reach to the opposite knee. Fingertips might come towards the floor behind you, but do not lean into either of those hands. We're propping ourselves up and rotating around the axis of the spine. So we're gonna hold our twist today. So let's breathe into it and start rolling up that spine, vertebra by vertebra, the shoulders, the neck, the head, and the eyes follow. So I want us to stretch our eyes out, open them really wide, and look to that furthest point behind you. Keep breathing in the twist. We'll take one more inhale. Now on this exhale, keep the twist in the body. Just rotate the head to look forward, just the head. And now try to peek over the left shoulder. So our body is twisting to the right, the head is turning to the left. So it counter twists the neck. Don't force or strain. One more inhale. And on this exhale, we'll release. So we'll turn the head and the body to face back forward. Inhale, both arms up. Keep this length. Exhale. Now we'll twist to the left. Again, fingertips may reach to the opposite knee and behind us, but there's no weight in the hands. We're still using the muscles around our waist to pull us into the twist. Rotate up the axis of that spine, shoulders and chin stay level. Bring everything out, eyes wide, peek behind the body. Breathe it in. Now hold the twist, and on the exhale, turn just the head to look forward, and then try to look over the right shoulder, giving us a nice big counter twist for the neck. Inhale, and then exhale, we'll release. Head and body come forward. One more time, switch the cross of our legs, take a quick wiggle in those legs if we need it. We'll just do one more seated pose, and then we'll get our whole body moving together. So sit up tall. Now here we'll let the fingertips float out beside us. Just shrug your shoulders away from the ear. So there doesn't have to be a lot of energy around the shoulders. The core is still doing the work. Inhale, and on the exhale, we're gonna drop the chin straight down to the chest. And then you're gonna roll the right ear to the right shoulder. We're gonna hang out here for a moment. So we're actually stretching the top of the left shoulder and the neck area. Arms hanging. Doesn't have to be a lot of effort. Just let them float beside the body. Do keep the spine tall. Now those of us that want a little bit more, take the left arm and float it out and away from the shoulder like you're reaching for something. Even more, take the left fingertips on top of that shoulder and the right fingertips just above the ear. We are not pushing down. You're thinking more about lengthening out. So creating space and length. One more little variation, taking the drishti down towards the lap. We can get a nice stretch of the back of the neck. That's where I personally hold a lot of tension and tightness and knots, all kinds of good stuff. So this is pretty intense for my neck, and it feels good. Now breathe it in. Keep the head where it is. On the exhale, release the hands, and now roll the chin straight down towards the chest. Inhale, float the head up towards neutral, even lift it up just a little bit. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, roll left ear to left shoulder. Let the arms be relaxed. Keep pulling in and up through the core to support the spine. So now we're focusing here along the right side. We can take that right arm and just reach it away from us to create that length and stretch. Take the fingertips to the top of the shoulder, left fingertips just above the ear, not to necessarily push down, but to pull out. And then a little bit more for the back of the neck. Those of us that want it, take the gaze down towards the lap, and you will feel that stretch up the back of the neck. One more big breath in. And exhale, keep the head where it is. Just bring the hands down and carefully roll the chin straight down. Inhale, float the head straight up. Chin can float up a little bit. Inhale out those arms. Reach the arms up, big stretch. Bring the palms to touch and exhale to our center. So one thing when we get into the neck, they used to say to do those neck rolls. You don't ever want to do neck rolls, at least from what I've learned and the school of thought that I follow. If you want to move the neck, you do your flexion and extension. You can do rotation and you can do lateral extension, but you should isolate those movements instead of rolling around. All right, let's roll our body around. Let's stretch out our legs and move a little bit more here. So we'll bring it all the way around to our tabletop. Spread those fingers, stack those joints. Now, if you want a little bit more for the feet here, tuck your toes under so that the toes are tucking under and spread, and you can try to get a nice stretch for the toes while you're in tabletop. On the inhale, let's relax the abdomen and lift the tail and the crown of the head up into our cow pose. Exhale, pull the belly in, scoop, tuck, and round. Draw that belly in. Tuck the chin to the chest if you want more for the root of the neck and the shoulders. Come back to following that breath. Inhaling to our gentle back bend. Exhaling, tucking and rounding into flexion. One more of each, or remember, if one of those feels really nice for the body today, we can always hold on to it and add a couple other little shoulder, neck movements that feel comfortable for the body. Now we might need to scooch a little bit towards the back of our mat so we have room in front of us. We are going to do a low flow today. So still from tabletop, let's walk our hands 1 hand's distance forward. Toes still tucked under, or tuck them under if you didn't have them there already. On the inhale, we're going to slide forward into our kneeling plank position. So you should really be scooping the tail under, pulling the low belly in. The arms are pushing into the ground. Now on our exhale, let's take our bow. So you're going to draw those hips back to the heels. The head doesn't need to touch, but pop your palms up off the ground when you do this to give your wrists a break. So you're going to round through the knuckles, grab those invisible tennis balls, stretch up the back. Inhale, move forward, kneeling plank. Head stays in line with the spine. Exhale, take your bow. Lead with the navel, pull it back. Big stretch for the shoulders, bow the head to the ground. Now we're going to add on. So we're going to inhale, kneeling plank, and take our half chaturanga. This does not have to be a big movement. You're exhaling, the elbows graze the rib cage, your head stays in line with the spine. We inhale, straighten the arms. Exhale, bow back. Pop those palms to give your wrists a break and to stretch out the neck and shoulders. Inhale, kneeling plank. Exhale, half chaturanga. Maybe you try to go a little lower. Inhale, straighten the arms. We should feel that in the back of our upper arms, our triceps. Exhale, take a bow. Now we'll come forward and we're going to try to do 3 of those in a row this morning. So exhale, even if it's just a tiny little bend. It might just be a micro bend at the elbows. If you're building up the upper body strength, you try to hover the body parallel to the floor and then straighten back up. 1 more. Ooh, I feel it. And then this one, we'll exhale and we'll try to slowly bring the body all the way down to the ground. Flatten out the tops of those feet. Keep your feet wide if you take care of the low back, or zip the toes and feet together. Chin stretches forward. The hands are now going to slide right underneath our shoulders. Squeeze the elbows in towards the body. Now tighten up the back side and we'll inhale, lift up into Bhujangasana or Cobra Pose. And we will be holding these poses here for several breaths. Anytime you need to, just take a break. You can rest your head on your hands or turn the head to one side. So the legs are active, the glutes are active. We're starting to feel this in the upper, mid, and low back. Breathing, breathing. The neck stays long. Try to float the hands here. Keep squeezing those shoulder blades together so we're strengthening the back of our core. Locusting the arms, reach the fingertips towards the heels, palms down. And then we'll try Ardha Shalabhasana with the right leg. Inhale, squeeze the right side, lifting that straight leg up from the hip. Exhale it down. Inhale, left leg lifts. Give it a nice squeeze. Exhale. Repeat one more time each side, or Purna Shalabhasana. Inhale, breathing. Everything lifts. Whole back of the body is strengthening. Keep breathing. Give me one more big breath in. Now on the exhale, we'll just flop to the floor. So the head turns to one side, the arms flop down, palms up, the heels fall open, toes are touching, prone Shavasana. Notice the effects that that pose have on the body and the breath. If the heart is racing, that's normal. Those are our, I call them our espresso shots in our yoga, our back bends. If it's more comfortable to stack your hands underneath the side of the head, go ahead and do so. And then one more breath, counter twist the neck, so turn the head the other way, or forehead on your hands if twisting the neck is a little too much here. Take a big belly breath, so when you inhale, the abdomen presses into the ground. That's to translate into the low back. Let those muscles relax. Now, inhale, hands underneath the shoulders, chin forward. We're gonna come back up to Cobra. We're not quite done yet. So lift up into your Cobra, and then we'll slide our elbows straight forward under our shoulders into Sphinx Pose. Let's knife the pinky edge of our hands into the ground here. Those upper arm bones should be perpendicular to the floor. From the front, you should be able to take that webbing of your thumb and index fingers and take a hold of your elbow creases. So that's the position there, directly underneath the shoulders. Now this is decompression for our spine. So the action is to energetically press your forearms down into the ground. Pretend like you're dragging your elbows back, and I'm pulling my spine forward and upwards to the crown of my head, gazing forward. Now my backside is very relaxed still. My glutes are soft, my heels are flopping open. And we should feel this pull and stretch through the abdomen, the ribs, creating space through the spine. Now we'll do another little exercise here for the neck. Take it gently. Inhale, breathing. Exhale, rotate and turn the head to the right. Look over the right shoulder and see if you can't find your feet back there. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, have a look over the left shoulder. Bring it back to center. Interweave all 10 fingers. Tuck those toes under. We're gonna come back to plank, but we're gonna try forearm plank today. So we need to tighten things back up. Scoop the tailbone. You're gonna pull those low ribs away from the floor. You're gonna start to pull your inner abs away from the floor. The hips are gonna lift up, and now I'm hovering my torso and thighs from the ground. I'm still kneeling. Those of us that want more, you're gonna squeeze and lift the knees up off the ground. So our body is parallel, forearm plank, really powerful pose. Smile. Think about all the strength that we're building together. Don't forget to breathe. Push the earth away from you. Keep breathing for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Lower back down. Open those hands, relax the feet. Sphinx pose. Let the abs stretch. Exhale, bring the hands underneath the shoulders, lower the body back down to the ground. Squeeze the elbows in, chin forward. Tuck the toes under, tuck the tailbone under, pushing back up through kneeling or full plank. Kneeling or full plank, you may either choose to drop to your knees and do a couple cat-cows, or if you're ready, we'll float those hips up, back, and down into our first downward facing dog. So your choice, cat-cows and tabletop. When you're ready, you can come into our inversion, downward facing dog. Still rolling those upper arm bones away from the ears, drawing that low belly in. We could try to loosely let the head float between those arm bones. Legs are strong, pedal the heels if you want to deepen the stretch side to side. Now down dog is a place to get more flexibility in our toes too. So let's actually do that together. So when we inhale, lift both heels up, look at your toes. You want to get into a nice toe crease there. Now on the exhale, drop your right heel to the ground. So we're stretching out the back of the right leg. But I want you to press through the ball of your left foot just as intently. So you're stretching the crease of the left foot toes. Inhale, heels up. Exhale, the left heel sinks to the ground, but simultaneously you can work on flexibility in your right toes. So I have crazy toes. My toes almost fold back to the top of my foot. Not all of us will be there, but you can work on that around the crease of the toes. Arms are strong. Inhale, heels up. Exhale, heels towards the ground. Let's look forward and step or walk, feet to hands, hands to feet, Uttanasana, forward fold. So a little loosey-goosey here. Remember, the feet and legs need to be strong. If you're done with being upside down, bend your knees and place elbows or hands on thighs to modify. If you want to continue to try to release those neck and shoulders, pull in through your lower locks, especially abdominal lock to protect the back. And you can either dangle the arms ahead or take your elbows and ragdoll here. Little swaying side to side in the neck and shoulders is okay. And let's round up today. So we'll all take a little bend in the knees, place the hands on the thighs, the fingers are turned in. Tuck that chin. And we're gonna roll up our spine as we inhale, inhale, inhale. Roll through each vertebra all the way up through the root of the neck. Head should be the last thing to come up. And when that head floats up, roll those shoulders up. And exhale, relax them back down. Float the arms from beside the body. If you get lightheaded, you gotta sit right back down. We're in Tadasana. Make sure we unlock those knees, that we're still pulling front body to back body, lengthening that lower back towards the ground. No tension up here. We really want the head to just continue to float. So let's do our footwork here. So in our footwork, we'll add our hands and see if that helps today. Yeah. Fly away here, my eyes. So we're gonna pick up our toes and we're trying to root through, I call it the four corners of the feet. Anatomically, we have 3 points on our feet. We have 3 arches in our feet. But for my visual, my brain, I like to refer to 4 corners. So toes are up. Spread them as wide as you can. Turn your palms to face forward and spread your fingers as wide as your toes. And now we can cheat. You can look down at your toes. So we're grounding through the mound of the big toe and inner heel. That's our high lateral arch that we are used to. Simultaneously, you want to ground through the mound of the pinky toe and the outer heel. There is a lateral arch there. And then we're going to try to work on our third arch that runs from the mound of the big toe to the pinky toe. So I want you to just tap your big toes down and up. Just the big toes. You're trying to get all the other toes up in the air. Now, all toes up, just the pinky toes. That's pretty easy because we just tend to roll to the outside of the feet. But instead of rolling to the outside of the feet to get the pinky toes to touch, really try to get the brain and our pinky toe to work. There's little brains in each of our toes. And now what we're going to do with our hands is you're going to touch the pinky fingers to the thumb so that your 3 fingers in the middle are outstretched, okay? And we're getting our feet going to touch the big toe to the ground and then try to touch the pinky toe to the ground so that the 3 toes in the middle are still up. Are we breathing? Takes a lot of concentration and manipulation. And maybe one foot does it, one foot doesn't. Maybe you get it for a second and then it goes away. Float the head up. Ears over shoulders. Stand nice and tall. Release the mudra in the hands and inhale the arms up. Reach, reach, reach. Keep those low ribs in. Bring the palms to touch. Exhale. If you still get your 3 toes on each foot lifted, good job. Take a break in the feet. Let them relax. So let's do a little bit of our balance work. This will also tone and strengthen the feet. We'll do a variation of our palm tree pose here. So we'll interweave all 10 fingers, flip the palms. Now on the inhale, the arms come overhead. I'll kneel down for a second so that your arms look like this up towards the ceiling. Don't strain the neck and shoulders. Shoulders are down, my head is loose here. No strength, it's all strength coming up through the arms and around the lats here. And you try to press the heels of the hands up. So from there, we're gonna inhale and lift the heels up. Now on the exhale, we lower the heels and you bend at the elbows, just allow the knuckles to come to the crown of the head. So the palms are still facing up to the ceiling. Inhale, we lift up, heels up, press the palms up. Exhale, we slowly lower, heels down, knuckles to the crown of the head. 2 more. Inhale, rising up. Exhale. 1 more. And then inhale, we're gonna lift and rise up here. Open the hands up. Turn those palms out and exhale, float it back down. Give me a big shoulder roll. Do a little loosey-goosey, side to side movement here. Let those arms flap around the body to let them go. Because we're gonna do 1 more, or 2 more actually, powerful balancing postures today. These will really help flexibility around our joints and stretch out the upper back, the root of the neck, that area around the shoulders. So it's going to be Garudasana into Virabhadrasana 3, or variations of those things, which is Eagle Pose and Warrior 3 Pose. So I'm going to turn sideways. You want to make sure you have space around you. We will be tipping forward at some point, so make sure you'll have space in front of you as well. Excuse me. So if we Garudasana, Eagle Pose, you want to bring the insides of the feet and legs to touch as close together as possible. Float the arms out beside the body, stand nice and tall. Now already start to compact those hips. This also really strengthens and tones around the core because we really pull everything into this middle area of our body. So those locks are going to be important. So lift up through the pelvic floor, pull that lower Uddiyana Bandha in and up. So we're totally strong and tight around this area of our body. Now inhale, float those arms up. And on the exhale, sweep your right arm underneath your left arm. Now some of us might just be able to find the tops of our shoulders here today, and you can kind of pull down on those shoulders to stretch them out. We might be able to find the backs of the hands touching, or you wrap that right hand around so that your palms touch and the thumbs cross. And for this version of Eagle Pose, I want us to think more about stretching out the neck and shoulders. So we're gonna wiggle and pull our elbows down and in, and try to get our fingertips below our nose. If it doesn't happen, don't worry about it. Now I'm gonna give us some modifications for the legs. So on the exhale, we're gonna sit back and down into like Utkatasana. Some of us will stay here, just concentrating on stretching the upper body. If you want to try a little bit of balance, just step your right foot to the outside of the left foot. So both feet are still touching the ground, but you're crossed at the ankles. Those of us that want a little bit more, lift the right leg up, cross the thighs, and your right foot might be floating out in space, but you're really squeezing and tightening the thighs. Eventually trying to wrap that right foot behind the left ankle or calf. Now we're pulling and squeezing, working through all the major joints in the body. And the more you pull those elbows down, we're pulling the belly in. We'll feel that stretch through the tops of the shoulders and the neck. Now knees move a little bit to the right, elbows to the left. We want to imagine a straight line from the tip of our nose down to our toes, running through these joints. Strong eagles here. Keep breathing and squeezing for 3, 2, 1. We're going to gracefully as possible inhale and unwind our body. Now we're going to let our eagle fly. Those of us that take care of our low back, we might be in a more upright position. The arms come beside the torso like locust arms. The right leg is now straight and floating. Those of us that want to move more into Virabhadrasana 3, you tip at the hips. There's no rounding of the back. The right leg lifts up behind the body, maybe eventually coming into a capital T. Hands may come to heart. You may extend your arms forward, but you will be in a long lever, and that will put a lot of pressure on the low back. If our eagle takes a little break out of the sky, that's fine. Just try to come back to it. We're going to take a big breath in. Now on the exhale, we're going to lower the foot to the floor and inhale, lift up through the crown of the head. Add the arms. Keep inhaling, inhaling. Big stretch. Palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart. Pause in Samadhi, standing stillness pose. Notice the body and the breath. Keep that focus. Other side. Inhale, reach those arms up. Exhale, sweep that left arm all the way under the right. Then you'll take a hold of your shoulders. Maybe the backs of the hands will touch. Or you'll try to wrap those palms around each other. And then wiggle those elbows down, bringing the fingertips below the nose. Insides of the feet and legs should still be touching. Compact those hips. Pull up through the pelvic floor, low belly. Exhale, sit back and down, Utkatasana. Either stay here, step left foot over the right foot, just crossing at the ankles, or hover that right leg up, cross the thighs, give them a nice squeeze. There should be no light space in the arms or the legs. Eventually wrapping that left foot behind the left ankle or calf. Now we're pulling, squeezing, low belly's pulling in, tightening. Try to bring the knees a little bit to the left, elbows a little bit to the right. Imagine that straight line running through the joints from the nose to the toes. Keep pulling those shoulders down. Smile and breathe for 3, 2, 1. We'll unravel and try to fly like an eagle. Left leg is going to extend back. Stay more upright and more of a standing locust pose if you take care of that low back. Those of you that would like to try to hinge, the spine does not round. The leg stays straight. You're trying to tip at the hip. Arms can stay beside the body, hands to heart. If you'd like to try to reach those arms forward, be kind to yourself. Deep breathe in here. Big breath in. The exhale brings the foot down, and then inhale, lift up to the crown of the head. Continue to inhale, arms up. Big stretch. Palms touch. Exhale, Samasthiti. Try to close the eyes. If you get lightheaded or dizzy, don't do that. And just notice all the sensations of the body. What's the heart doing? What is the breath doing? What does the brain think of all that? Whatever all that stuff is, we just let it go and come back to the breath. And next inhale, let's softly open the eyes back up. Reach those arms all the way back up to the ceiling. Drishti towards those thumbs for a gentle back bend if you want. And exhale, hands to heart. So we might need to move ourselves back around. We'll make another transition now. So we'll move back towards the top of our mat here in Tadasana. Feet are hips width apart, unlock those knees. Float the head lightly on top of the shoulders. Continue to pull front body to back body. Inhale, breathing, give me a big stretch up. You may gaze upwards. The exhale, micro bends the knees, hinges from the hips, taking our forward fold. That might mean we stop halfway. Maybe we gradually try to go a little deeper. We can release the head and neck here for a moment. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands. We're going to take a big step back, 1 foot at a time, and revisit our favorite pose, plank pose. So plank pose is all about toning and strengthening the core. Those toes are tucked under. See if you can get all of your toes tucked under. Fingers are spread nice and wide. Press and root down through the mound of the index finger and thumb. Pull that low belly in nice and strong. Press the ground away from the body. I mean the floor. Or the ground away from the body, sure. The body away from the ground. Keep the head in line with the spine. Keep compacting, hug those muscles to the bone. Smile and breathe for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, we're gonna push those hips up. Exhale, relax that weight down the backs of the legs. Pedal the heels and work on your toe creases in the opposite foot.
Find some stillness in downward facing dog. Let the head float between those upper arms. Inhale, both heels up, stretch out those toes. Exhale, we'll drop down to the knees. We can keep the knees together, or you may open them. We didn't do child's pose yet, so if you prefer wide knee child's pose, go for it. We'll draw those hips back to our heels. Hands can stay more actively outstretched, or slide the hands down to the feet, arms beside the body, resting the head towards the ground, or stacking the head on arms or props. We'll pause here for a moment. And then bring the hands under the shoulders. Again, tuck the chin. Really try to roll up the back one vertebra at a time. All the way up. Head is the last thing to come up. And then we'll shift our weight over to either hip and bring our feet forward. So let's see. Let's do one seated pose here, and then we'll work our way down to the ground. So we'll come into Baddha Konasana, so we can do some more footwork here. Let's see, I'm gonna try to towel. Still propped up on something for some of us that have tightness in that area. And so here we'll think more about 3 points, the 3 anatomical points of the feet. So once we're up on our sit bones and we're able to sit up tall, we bring the soles of the feet to touch. The heels can draw in as close to that pubic bone as is comfortable. Ideally, I actually need to lift up a little bit more. Better. There we go. Now I can sit up tall. That's too low to the ground. So 3 points of the feet. So we're pressing the mound of the big toes together, the mound of the pinky toes, and the center of the heels. Simultaneously flare your toes away from each other. And when we look down, ideally we want to see this almond shape and all the way through to the floor between our feet. That means our arches are nice and active and lifted. If your feet come flat together, that's okay. Doing this exercise can actually help rebuild the arches. Doing your toe lifts and all our standing poses can help as well. But we're actively pressing those 3 points together. And pull your thigh bones in to the sockets. Sit up tall. Those of us that want to add a little deeper stretch, you may hinge at the hips. There's no rounding of the back. The elbows actually pull back beside the torso. The drishti might move forward. And others of us still might be able to walk the body closer towards the ground. Use the prop under the forehead if you're one of those people. And we'll take one more breath in our pose. Toes still flaring, 3 points still pushing. And then the next inhale will float us up. Sit up tall, hands outside the knees. Step the feet a little wider than the hips. Bring the fingertips behind the body and just gently rock it out. Okay, so since we're targeting core as well today, building up this inner strength, we will do not only our slow roll down, but we're gonna try our roll downs and ups. This will put pressure on the low back. So if it's not for you, you may come flat to the floor and do happy baby, release there. Your option, also if you don't want to do these roll down and roll ups, you can hold in a variation in Tadasana. So just make sure your chest and chin stay open. You can hold the thighs, reach the arms forward, and you can do that. So those are your modifications. If you want to join me in this rolling to tone and strengthen, we'll sit towards the middle of our mat so you have space behind us. The soles of the feet are touching the ground and together, so my legs look like this. My knees are wider than the hips because I don't want my hip flexor to do all the work. Now this is articulation as well, all that rolling through the spine, and we really try to hollow out the belly. We stretch the fingertips forward, You're scooping your tailbone under, pull the belly in, and try to come down just an inch or two. So we're coming down to the sacrum. And then inhale, we come back up. Now exhale, pull that belly in. Sacrum, a little further down. Inhale, bring it back up. It's gonna get harder, so if it ever causes any discomfort, just let it go. Sacrum, lumbar, mid-back. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, a little further. Sacrum, low back, mid-back, shoulders. Inhale. Oh, it's hard today. Come all the way back up. And again, scoop round. Good. Do it with me all the way down, back of the head. And inhale. All the way back up. These usually aren't so hard. Okay, this one, we're going to come all the way down. Good job, you guys. I see you doing it with me. Slowly, slowly, pull that belly in. Oh, whew, good job. When we come down this time, the head relaxes down. Arms reach overhead. Straighten the legs down the middle of the mat. Long body stretch. Let that low back naturally arch here. Feel your abs start stretching. Because we're not done yet. A couple more toning exercises. We're going to be raring to go today. Arms are going to float down. We're going to do a couple rounds of our Yogi Sit-Ups. We'll stretch it out and then relax. So walk the feet in. Hug the knees in. Low back stays flat to the floor. Arms down beside the body or slide the hands under the lower buttock. The low back must be connected to the ground, and that is going to be our measure of how far we go with our Yogi Sit-Ups. Both legs straighten straight up to the ceiling. Point those toes up. We'll start with single leg lifts. So on the inhale, lower the right leg away from the body. Now you only lower that leg as far as you can maintain the low back to the floor. Exhale, very slowly pull it back up. Do not swing that leg. I'm watching you guys. No cheating. Inhale, left leg lowers. Ideally to the same degree. It might be a little bit. It might be a lot. Slowly pull it up. We want to use our muscles, not momentum. Now keep going. If you need to modify, bend your knees to 90 and just touch one big toe to the ground. Pull the thigh up and then the other. So the knees can be bent if you're modifying. Otherwise, we're drawing a perfect straight line up and down, 1 foot at a time. The opposite leg should be stacked right over the hip the whole time. Low belly's pulling in, back is flat to the floor. And the other trick is don't use the face. So relax the mouth and the throat. Breathe through the nose. Good job, y'all. Let's do one more to each side. We can do it. We feel the bird in the belly. That's what we want. That's our Agni, our fire. Improving our metabolism and our digestion. After that left side is done, take a break. Hug the knees in, rock it out. So we are going to do one more round today. Arms down, strong shoulders, no weight in the neck, hands under the buttock if you want to make a little well for that low back. So you can continue and do one more set of single legs. If we want a little bit more, we zip both legs up together. And then inhale, lower both legs. So you might not go as far. Do not let that low back arch away from the ground. It should stay in neutral position. And then very slowly pull them back up. Pretend like you're moving through thick mud. Good, nice rhythm and pace. Do follow your breath. Smile a little bit. That will help the throat not try to do all the work. Pull that low belly in. So doing our abdominal work this way gets into those deeper, stronger muscles. We're going to do 2 more. If you're doing singles, you'll do 1 more on each side or 2 more together. And after that last one, we'll all take a quick break. Good job. Hug the knees in, relax the belly. Drop the feet flat to the floor, heels towards the sit bones. If you have a yoga block, place the lowest setting between those inner thighs. We're going to give those abs a nice big stretch and strengthen the back a little bit more. Walk those shoulders under, head is in neutral. Squeeze the buttock, activate the hamstrings, lifting up into bridge pose. Shoulders can walk under a little bit more. Interweave the hands under the back if that's comfortable. The neck is still gently curved away from the ground. Feel the strength in the back, stretch out the front, across the thighs, the hip flexors, and the abs. Little belly breathing here in bridge pose can help deepen that stretch. Inhaling, belly rises. Exhale, it falls. Knees should be pointing towards those toes. Even if we don't have a yoga block, we keep the energy between our inner thighs. One more breath. On our next exhale, release the arms out. Carefully lower the hips back down. Pause. Little rock of the knees side to side. Draw the belly in to hug the knees in. Glue the knees together, keep the feet parallel. Stretch the arms up from the shoulders, spinal twist. Exhale, legs move to the right. Bring a prop under the legs as needed. Right hand to the top of the thigh to deepen the twist. Sink the left shoulder down, turning the head to the left to counter twist that neck. Close the eyes, start slowing the breathing down and relaxing the whole body. Our inhale will float the head and the knees up to center. If you need to do a little wiggle before the other side, do so. Knees together, feet parallel, knees fall to the left. Left hand on top of the thigh to deepen the twist. Sink the right shoulder, turn the head to the right, close the eyes, and just breathe. Relax the face, the neck, the shoulders. Next inhale, we'll bring the head and the knees to neutral. Realign. We'll reach those arms across our shin bones, drawing the nose towards the knees to stretch out the whole back here. To love and appreciate ourselves and our bodies this morning. Big breath in. And then on the exhale, we can let it all go. Letting the body flop back down to the floor. Now, if you have pillows and blankets around you that you want to take to support underneath the head, the legs, or the back, go ahead and do so. Eye coverings are great to help those eyes relax a little bit more quickly. Make all the adjustments here in the beginning so that we can find stillness in the end. I'm going to share a quote with us all this morning, guide us through a little bit more relaxation, give us a few moments of peace and quiet, and then use the singing bowl to bring us out of Shavasana. So feel all the contact points that the body is making with the ground, the arm bones rolling open, palms up, all the fingertips curled up. If the legs are outstretched in Shavasana, the feet are flopping open. Relax the soles of the feet and the toes. Let go of any expression across the face, unfurling the brow. Release the tongue and lower jaw to gravity. Relaxing the ears, the inner ears, the throat. We let that relaxation flow through the whole body. Relaxing the abdomen, all of the internal organs. And maybe noticing a subtle rise and fall of the belly with the breath. The spiritual power of man's will removes all obstacles. The more we value things, the less we value ourselves. The more we depend on others for esteem, the less sufficient we are. Self-confidence is a practice and fuels the action we need to take to learn, make mistakes, and grow as a human being. Allow that breath to become easy, quiet, and calm. And if the mind wanders, we just gently bring it back to the peaceful breath. Or this morning, we can focus our internal awareness around this navel center, our place of self-esteem, inner strength, and courage. Giving ourselves just one more moment to let go, to relax, and sink into Shavasana. We'll slowly come back to the natural breath and start to breathe life back into our body, waking up those toes, the fingertips, a gentle rock of the head side to side. Next, inhale, floats the arms up to the ceiling and all the way back overhead. One more time to create as much space in our body as we can in our long body stretch. Bring the legs down the middle of the mat. Flex the feet, spread those toes. Try to pull those pinky toes towards the calves. Give your right side a nice big stretch. Left side. And then big breath in, whole body. Spread the fingers, spread the toes. Exhale, float those arms down. Walk the feet in. Draw the belly in to hug our knees in, rock side to side. Right arm falls beside the head, rolling and pausing on our right hand side. The head cradles the arm. And then pressing into the ground to bring the body back up, where we will revisit any comfortable seated posture. Sitting up tall to the crown of the head, finding our sit bones, minding our surroundings. We will take a couple more breaths together today. Reaching the arms out beside the body, palms up. Another deep breath in to float those arms all the way up and to gather up everything we need for the rest of our day. Turn those palms out, even bigger breath out. Float those arms all the way back down to the ground and let go of all that other junk you don't need. And one more time. Inhale up. Palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart. Humbly bowing our head to the heart to honor and thank ourselves, our bodies, each other, and remembering to be grateful to anyone else that made it possible for us to connect and practice our yoga together today. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om, peace, peace.